Welcome back to How to Souls. My name is Rach and today we're going to continue with our Mage class guide for Dark Souls Remastered on the Gargoyles boss. Now, this boss is the first one that is really going to be tricky, and that is for one simple fact: it's a 2-on-1 fight. However, because you are playing a mage, you as always have range on your side, and that is going to really help you in this fight. I'll show you how to take advantage of it. For the purposes of this guide being a guide, it wouldn't be a guide if I didn't guide you on the easiest way to do this fight, and that is just to summon Sorcerer. Reverse hollowing, and then you'll find his sign right outside the Gargoyles boss room. However, if you're looking to beat this game solo, if you're looking for a challenge, then that's totally valid too. Here is the solo strategy. Before we go any further, our mage has come on quite a way in the world, so just to point out a few things, we do have 20 intelligence, 2 stacks of soul arrow and 1 stack of heavy soul arrow that we got by getting, we already had 3 slots, but I've picked up a 4th one by 1 point into attunement. I've put 1 point into strength, so that we have 10 strength, and we can use, now we can use an offhand, like we can use a weapon. So I've picked the longsword, which is a very valid choice in my opinion. Later on we're going to get a weapon buff that is going to work out just nicely on this longsword. Yeah, so longsword takes 10 strength and 10 dex to use, which like I said is only 1 point of stat investment. You're going to want to then take some souls and go to Andre the blacksmith and not backstep. We're going to look to reinforce this longsword just as much as we can, really. So +3 is a pretty decent way to go. So we're just going to pop a couple of Titanite shards in there. If we can afford another 2, we could get a +4. Nah, we're good. We're out of souls. So okay, yeah. Longsword +3, that's good. So basically this is just if you run out of soul arrows, because there's a few things that you have to fight on the way to the boss. So we're mainly going to be using our longsword to fight them, and we want to kill them in 1 hit, so it has to be a decent longsword. So hopefully we can make it to the boss arena with a decent amount of soul arrows remaining, because that is going to be our main damage output for the fight. So fight your way through to the Gargoyles fog wall, summon Sorcerer if you like, if you're human, or pass on through. This fight actually ended up being a little tricky for me. I've been spending too much time playing Elden Ring. The main thing to know about the Gargoyles is that the second Gargoyle will spawn, not based off of a timer, but based off of the first Gargoyle's health bar. So when that first Gargoyle gets to around 60%, the second Gargoyle will spawn. So you can feel free to use the start to take as long as you need to learn the Gargoyle's attacks. Now the first Gargoyle has a tail, where the second one does not, which means if you're hanging around near its bum, it's going to do tail attacks. First of all, you can see me trying to dodge and failing to dodge a lot of it. The halberd attacks, that's me just getting used to the game. If he does an overhead vertical slam, it's always better to dodge to the side than it is to dodge forwards. Now you'll see me struggle here to hit the Gargoyle with my spells because he is jumping and flying so much. What I found near the end of the fight is to wait until he had just about landed on the roof and then start my cast, and that way you are targeted and aiming at the floor, and it's going to hit him that way. That's definitely one big thing that I learned doing this fight as a mage, that these guys move a lot more than I realized they did. So you'll see here I dodged backwards because I knew that I had enough range, but a lot of these attacks are clipping me, so we're going to need to look for a good place to heal. So we hit the halfway mark and the second Gargoyle has spawned. You'll see me now run to the very edge of the roof, careful obviously not to fall off the roof. That is a big hazard in this fight, falling off the roof, rolling off the roof. We're going to try and use all of the space because the second Gargoyle tends to favour spitting fire than to actually attacking you with the halberd. So we're going to use all the space just to run around the side, and we're focusing our attacks now on the second Gargoyle, because while that is busy spitting fire, it is not dodging our spells. Well, it did that one, but never mind. So focusing on keeping one eye on the tailed Gargoyle and another eye on the tailless Gargoyle. Using the roof sticking to the edge has the added advantage of sometimes attacks going over your head. Wait for both of them to be occupied and for yourself to be out of the way before healing or attacking. It's honestly, it's a really chaotic fight, and I'm taking a ton of damage here. I get stuck on the roof at one point. I was panicking. My commentary was dreadful. That's why this is done in post. It's a tricky fight, and like I mentioned at the start of the video, summoning Sorcerer is the easiest way to handle this because then you only have a one-on-one situation to worry about. But here we go, the second gargoyle is, they're both spitting fire. This is an ideal scenario because they're both occupied, so we're just going to go ahead and make sure we're safe and take out the second gargoyle. Now we only have a one-on-one fight to worry about, and it is honestly smooth sailing from here, but do not relax because you still have a variety of attacks from this nerd to worry about. We luckily had plenty soul arrows thanks to mainly using the longsword to get here in the first place, but if you're a little low on soul arrows, same tactics apply. I would stick to his tail and try and get some attacks on his tail. If you manage to cut his tail off with your sword, it will stun him momentarily and allow you to get some hits in. And that's about it for this fight. Good luck. I would call this the first like true massive victory in this game. Whether you did it alone or not, it's a tricky fight. Hopefully you were able to learn something from my commentary, defeat your gargoyles, and head up to ring your first Bell of Awakening. I hope you're enjoying the Mage playthrough. If you are, remember you can subscribe to the channel and you won't miss the next video. Also check out my warrior guide, my rogue guide, my pyromancer guide, whatever tickles your fancy, and I'll see you in those videos.